Welcome back to the Faceoff. Here's some breaking news. This is actually not very good news at all. 2 explosions have been reported at the Boston Marathon finish line. There is no further information reported at this time, but since it's a rather very big story, I felt like I should interrupt my normal programming and inform you all, whoever is listening, that there have been 2 explosions reported at the Boston Marathon finish line. Hopefully the situation is not as dire as it probably will be, but we will not know until we found out more information from that scene. And now we resume normal programming. The second arena that I visited was Honda Center in this 3-part California road venue tour that I went on. Getting to Anaheim from Los Angeles, as many people here at USC will know, or just getting into Orange County in general, is on a Friday evening is a complete nightmare, especially since the 405 right now, with the construction or with the improvement of the Sepulveda Pass, is a complete parking lot. To put that into, it's awful, and it's one of the worst. It's by far the worst freeway in America. I will go on the record and say that. I went with 2 other friends from USC who are also Dallas Stars fans to this game. This game took place on April 5th, the week when it seemed like just everything, the worst things ever the worst things ever for the Dallas Stars at the trade deadline. There were major sellers. They sold off Yager, they sold off Derek Roy, and they sold off Brendan Morrow the week before the trade deadline. But since we bought the tickets 3 weeks before this game, we committed to going to this game anyway, except one person. We were supposed to go with 4 people. One person couldn't make it to the game, so I had to drive to Santa Monica to get the tickets from him. And I also decided, since I was in the Santa Monica area, I decided to get some supplies for this game in Marina del Rey, a Target near Santa Monica, so I just made a trip out of it. Now, if you're going to Orange County from Los Angeles, and you've never driven there before, find a way to get to the 91 freeway, because that freeway isn't going to be as clogged as the 110, the 101, the 5, the 105, the 405, the 710, or 605 during rush hour. Also, if you have passengers in your car, the carpool lane will be your best friend ever, because you're going to pass all of the lowly single riders who have to wait in rush hour traffic. And the 91 carpool lane has an interchange to get on the 5 in Orange County, so that's nice, because, buses need to get to Disneyland, and if you have a passenger in your car, you can go in that lane, which is very nice, and you can also bypass any traffic that is on Interstate 5 to get to Honda Center, or if you're a baseball fan, Angel Stadium in Anaheim. Since that week started out very poor for the Stars, all 3 of us made pretty self-deprecating signs. We plan on deploying them in the event that the Stars fell behind by a lot. I made my sign before I met up with the other people in my group, and since we had so much time to kill in Los Angeles traffic, another person in the backseat of my car made his sign. However, since we made our signs with an expo marker, all my windows were closed when my backseat passenger was making a sign. It smelled awful, and I may have been inhaling something rather dangerous. Now I was presented with quite a conundrum: open my windows and breathe in the fumes from the bus in front of me, or keep them closed and smell a smelly marker. I kind of compromised and cracked open the windows. Now, to give you an idea for those who have never driven to Orange County, how much time you need to give yourself, we left Los Angeles at 5:15 and got to Honda Center at 6:45. Anaheim and Los Angeles are 34 miles apart. Now, there was an accident on the 91 that delayed us 15 minutes, but it still illustrates just how much time you need to get to Orange County. When we finally got there, the thing about me when I'm driving is I like to play my music really loud. I also like my windows open, and I like the Dallas Stars. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Stars fans' traditions, they have their own fight song written by Pantera in 1999, and the only lyrics are Dallas Stars. And then, of course, there's a yeah at the end, but I don't really count that. So I played that on loop with all my windows down while we were near the arena until we parked, because, we've got to let the home crowd know we're there. Now, parking in the arena lot, for those of you who've never been there, is $15. Since I've only been to Honda Center twice, I don't know where one can find cheap parking. But the advantage to the arena's lot is that the further away you are from the arena, while you'll be walking further to the arena when you are walking to the game, the faster you'll be able to leave because you have to exit the other side of the lot. And we finally got to the arena around 6. We finally parked at 6:53 p.m. So the game started at 7. And one of my other friends who didn't make his sign spent 5 minutes drawing a sign that ended up being one of the funnier signs we made at the game. The last time I went to Honda Center in February for a Sharks-Ducks game, they actually made me check my camera. They made me check my zoom lens, with the arena, since they have a policy of lenses no bigger than 6 inches. This is probably true for most arenas in the National Hockey League. This time I did not bring the zoom lens, but not only did security not check my camera bag, but they also didn't stop us and asked what our sign said. We could have totally brought a sign that said F the Ducks and carried it past security. But since, we are consciously aware of that we will probably be kicked out of the venue for doing that, we refrained. We were a tad late to this game, so we were walking to our seats in the concourse while the Star-Spangled Banner, was being sung by what sounded like an elementary school choir. We all walked behind a big group of Duck fans, watching from a seat entrance, and we waited for the lyrics, "Oh, say does that," and yelled "Stars!" right at the top of our lungs, startling everybody. Yeah, we definitely got a kick out of that. By the way, here's a very important thing to know about Ducks fans, if you're a Stars fan. They do not like Steve Ott. Our seats in this game was section 411, which is actually the third tier of seats at the Honda Center. For some reason, they labeled their 3 sections of seats as the 200s, 300s, and 400s. Honda Center, why do you not use a logical numbering system for your seats? Doesn't really make sense. Now, despite the 400 level seat moniker, the seats in the third tier level at Honda Center are actually pretty decent. The seats themselves are a little stiff, but this seat that I had this game felt a little bit more cushioned than the one I went to when I went to the Sharks-Ducks game. The cup holders, though, are a little too close to your elbows, and if you're not careful and you have an open beverage, you have a pretty significant chance of knocking it down. Also, the scoreboard, the video screens on the scoreboard, they're pretty small in an era of scoreboards that are largely upgraded with a lot of large screens. The Anaheim Ducks, the scoreboard at Honda Center looks like it's stuck in the 90s. Now, the Sharks upgraded their scoreboard in 2007, the Stars upgraded theirs in 2009, and the Kings upgraded their scoreboard in 2010. The Ducks, all they did, what appears to be, is they added a little LED ribbon patch at the bottom of the scoreboard, but they left the rest of it intact. And, well, as you could probably tell right now by what I've just said, I have a weird fascination with scoreboards. The Ducks, I wish it was upgraded a little bit, but that's just me being really picky. I understand if this is an unfair critique, but I have to make it. As far as the game was concerned, though, I can't remember another time where I was at a Stars game and had absolutely zero expectations for the outcome. None of us expected anything from this game. We collectively thought, we'll be glad if the Stars score 1 goal. Yeah, sure, that makes us sound like really awful fans. But let's be honest here. The beginning of that week during the trade deadline was pretty emotionally draining. Now, I followed the same rules that I gave myself at the Kings game back in March. Just don't be obnoxious, treat the home fans with respect. This is actually my first road fan experience at Honda Center, and I wanted to make sure my experience was good. As most of us saw, the Ducks, if you were watching the game, as most of us saw, the Ducks were putting a lot of pressure on the Stars early on, but out of nowhere, Lane McDermott, who came over to the Stars from the Jaromir Jagr trade and wasn't expected to score at all because he had never scored a goal in the NHL up until this point, He scored his second goal of the game, and it was actually a really nice one. And as we were celebrating, we all, how are we winning this game? We had a few people yelling at us to sit down, but once you're celebrating, you just have to ignore them because you don't want to give them that leverage. And, this was our moment. We didn't want anybody ruining it. Now, almost immediately, though, the Ducks answered the Stars' goal, benefiting from a very, very weird bounce that is prevalent at Honda Center. If you've never been to a game there, the boards, for some reason, have the funkiest bounces, and they always bounce towards the goal. And it happened this time again. You can probably, and if you're watching a game that involves the Anaheim Ducks at Honda Center, you can hear this very well during the broadcast. But the PA announcer at Honda Center makes a gigantic spectacle of Ducks goals, and it's not one I'm a big fan of. Now, I'm not supposed to like it. I know that. I'm not supposed to like it when the Ducks PA announcer announces the Ducks goal. That's a given. But when he begins with Anaheim Ducks goal, you hope you never see the Stars get scored on you because you never want to hear that ever again. It sticks with you. The Ducks fans in the row in front of us were genuinely amazed that all three of us went to this game as Stars fans, and they gave us a lot of respect for going to see the Stars play, given how the week went before the game. The fans to my right were also pretty decent people to talk to, which was nice. The fans behind me, who looked like they were still in high school, were complaining loudly why the Ducks weren't just destroying the Stars. So that was kind of funny to listen to. But when I did talk to them, they were actually nice enough to converse back with me in a peaceful manner. Overall, the fans around us were pretty chill. Eric Nystrom decided to make his presence known really early on, a few minutes later, but he scored a shorthanded goal, and because Victor Foss made the most rookie mistake he will probably ever make in his career, because he skated out to center ice, he skated out to the right face-off circle, got caught in no man's land, and Eric Nystrom just put the puck in an empty net. And then right after that, though, the Ducks hit the crossbar, and almost immediately after Nystrom scored, the fans to our left didn't realize the Ducks didn't score and were still high-fiving each other as play continued. You would have thought that a lack of a blaring goal horn would register with them, but apparently not. Not sure I've seen anything like that before, where fans were completely oblivious to the action. During our commercial break, we decided that it was a good time to deploy our signs with hopes of making it onto the Jumbotron, which was a pretty lofty goal, let's be honest here. Predictably, we didn't make it onto the TV screen, but our signs did make all of the fans around us laugh. When you usually make people laugh, they tend to like you more. Ducks fans also, like Kings fans, when the Ducks take a lot of penalties, the fans really don't like it, and they also engage in a "ref, you suck" chant. The first period began to wind down, but Alex Chason scored a simple but effective goal for his first NHL goal off a feed from Vernon Fiddler. Once again, all three of us were the only people standing up and cheering in our section. I was yelling, "Pick up that puck," since I knew what just happened. Little did we know we were beginning to see not only an incredible stretch of play for the Stars as a whole, but also an exciting debut for a promising rookie. It was a pretty good first period. But given how second periods played out in the season before that, and we told all the fans around us that the game could quickly change on a dime because the second periods were not too kind to the Stars throughout this season. The first intermission, I stayed in my seat while the other two people got up and got food and beer. And I wanted to make sure nobody desecrated our beautifully crafted signs because we worked extremely hard on those. Now, the first period intermission, people were trying to shoot pucks from the defensive zone in Anaheim, or from Anaheim's defensive zone, into circles formed by the arena spotlights with the goal of winning Ducks memorabilia. The prices got gradually better when the puck stopped in further circles. And that's pretty much what happened in the first intermission. Amazingly, the Stars didn't fold in the second period, which had obviously been the Achilles heel of the season for them. Everybody was more concerned with actually watching the game than interacting with each other. So there were no memorable moments from that second period as far as fan interaction is concerned. Anaheim's been around the NHL since 1993, but they only have 5 banners to show for it, 4 of them commemorating a championship of some sort, 3 of them from the 2007 season when they won the Stanley Cup. Now, should they hang on to win the division this year, they'll obviously add to that, but I thought that was interesting nonetheless. In the second intermission, I got up to get a pizza and also decided to venture out a little bit to just get pictures of the concourse to see if I saw anything strange. And I did. Once again, a fan showed up to this game in a jersey of a team that wasn't at the game. I've ranted about this before, but why are you at the games if your team isn't there? It's just something that really gets under my skin. And I took a picture of the Canucks fan covertly, except another fan noticed what I was doing and asked what I was doing. I explained to him that I was taking a photograph of the Luongo fan, and then proceeded to tell him that this was actually a class project I was doing. And I also thought it was extremely pointless of fans showing up to a game of wearing a jersey that isn't playing. And it was kind of an awkward conversation because, well, I brought it upon myself though, so it was kind of well deserved. He did see my point on the jersey rant, so I guess mission accomplished. In the third period, this was a moment where we decided to take the game very seriously. We went into the game completely apathetic to the outcome, but once the third period started, we wanted to see the Stars finish the win. And the fans directly in front of us, who I mentioned before, who liked our signs, they liked our signs so much that during a commercial break, they took our picture holding the signs up, and I don't know, they probably Instagrammed it or something. I don't know entirely sure. Jamie Benn almost scored a really fluky goal when he banked it off the boards, and it somehow got past Victor Foss. So the Stars were using the Honda Center bounce to the advantage. But the goal was disallowed because Alex Chason was offside. But for some reason, quite a few Duck fans didn't even wait for confirmation for the goal and headed for the exits. This wasn't just 5 or 10 fans. This was hundreds of fans that left their seats to head for the exits. And that struck me weird. There was over 6 minutes left to go in the game. Anything can happen in a hockey game, especially at Honda Center with all those funky bounces. And like I said, we're not talking about 5 or 10 fans here. This was at least 100 people, so quite a few. The horn sounded, the Stars won. All of us were really happy, except every fan around us. And the fans in front of us who liked us so much that they were nice enough to take our picture, and we have a picture of us holding up our signs. And that's a fun picture that we have. After we took the picture, though, a fan in the last row behind us tried to take his frustrations out on us by yelling, "Hey, congratulations, you won 1 out of the 3 games we played this week." And I said, "No, thank you." This guy was not very good at trash talking, and I was easily toying with him. After that, he said, "Hey, enjoy 11th place," and I yelled back, "We will." Seriously, man, work on your heckling. I was not impressed. Remember how I blasted Pantera as we were entering Honda Center? Well, I decided that we didn't have enough fun at the expense of Ducks fans, so we played Pantera on loop, full blast, from my car with all the windows down until we were out of the parking lot. We were in the parking lot for 15 minutes. So there was a lot of Pantera playing. It's a 1 minute and 30-second song. Now, would this experience have been different if the Stars lost? Yeah, of course. I've been to a game where a team that I was sort of cheering, but I was also a neutral observer for. I've been to a game where that team lost, and that wasn't fun. And that's why I try to befriend, if you will, the fans near me so that life won't be as terrible as I exit the arena. Up next, a very detailed visit to the Shark Tank coming up after the break. You are listening to KXSC 1560 AM radio.